Today, on the trail of finding that perfect Bigfoot movie, I submit two films that one might consider off the beaten path for a horror channel. While these films fall under the category of investigative documentary and dark comedy, they're about that one important thing that brings it here: Bigfoot.
There! There! There!
Welcome back to ML Miller Frights. I'm ML Miller. Before we begin, please do me a favor and punch that like button down below. Share this video with all of your social media addicted pals. Click subscribe to this channel and ring that bell for notifications. On the Trail of Bigfoot, The Discovery is new on-demand and digital download from 1091 Pictures. It's directed by Seth Breedlove. Documentary filmmaker Seth Breedlove continues his search for proof of the existence of Bigfoot. This installment follows him and his team to the Pacific Northwest, specifically the Olympic Peninsula, where he teams up with the Olympic Project, a research group formed of a ragtag group of enthusiasts searching for proof of the beast. They have stumbled upon a discovery that may very well be the proof they're all looking for: a nesting ground deep in the forest, big enough to serve as bedding for the cryptid known as Bigfoot. I've followed 3 of these On the Trail of Bigfoot docuseries, and while they haven't quite found the beast yet, it does seem that they're closer and closer to finding evidence. That is, if you believe in that sort of thing. Me, I want to believe. But I'm looking for what everyone else is looking for: hard proof for their existence. While a grouping of large nests on the ground may not be evidence to convince the masses, the investigators do lay out a pretty solid case for why this might actually be a historic find. There does seem to be something making these nests, where all of the leaves, berries, and seeds are carefully plucked from the surrounding area, and large beddings have been woven together to fit something very big inside. Everything is laid out in a meticulous and scientific fashion. This documentary at least shows these researchers are going on more than just a hunch and actually following some kind of scientific method in their investigation. The problem is that while this might be an interesting find that gets the pencil pushers back at the lab all juicy, it really isn't the sexy evidence everyone is looking for. Show me a blurry photo or a distant recording any old day. That to me is fun to watch. But stumbling onto a bunch of sticks thatched together on the ground just doesn't do it for me. I know it's significant, but still, it's lackluster to say the least. On the Trail of Bigfoot, The Discovery offers up a fun look at the Olympic group, a motley crew of believers and researchers who seem to be having a good time while wandering the woods and looking for this elusive beast. The doc offers up some insight as to what motivates each of them, as well as what propels Breedlove along to find the truth himself. I'm going to give On the Trail of Bigfoot, The Discovery, 2 feet and a toe.
There!
It really doesn't offer up anything new, but if you're into this sort of thing, this doc will definitely maintain that interest. Nothing is found that will appease the skeptics and the scoffers, so the truth still is left unsolved until Breedlove and his crew head out again for another doc in this infectiously fun little documentary series. And now for something completely different. Bigfoot Famous, aka Finding Bigfoot, is new on-demand and digital download from Gravitas Ventures. It's directed by Sam Millman and Peter Voss, and written by Steph Barkley, Chris Kleckner, Sam Millman, and Peter Voss. YouTuber Coley Withers, played by Steph Barkley, has seen better days. There was a time when she was the queen of the likes and subs, but her YouTube page has faltered recently. When a new Bigfoot sighting brings in hundreds of thousands of internet interest, Coley gets the bright idea to find Bigfoot as a means to bring her back to YouTube glory. So she sets out to find the place where Bigfoot was last spotted, and brings her boyfriend Jericho, played by Sam Millman, a Bigfoot enthusiast, Marty, played by Chris Kleckner, and a psycho Bigfoot hunter, Triple T, played by Anthony Ma, into the Pacific Northwest to capture YouTube glory once again. Things don't go as planned. While this is definitely not a horror movie, Bigfoot Famous has some surprisingly dark elements. It's mainly a comedy and biting satire about the influencer culture, how vapid and sad it can be, and society's addiction to fame. While things seem all boppy and light, as that is the persona Coley plays on her channel, she really leads a very tragic life, living with a boyfriend who is obviously gay, pining over likes and subs, and putting herself and others into harm's way simply to chase fame. There are a few wonderfully insightful moments where Coley talks about how the beginning of her YouTube career was fun and how that life morphed into something overwhelming once she tasted internet fame. It's a tragic but real look at how that need to be seen can take over all other needs. This trip Coley and her crew take into the woods results in the loss of numerous lives, and the film just doesn't gloss over it. When the first significant death occurs, it comes as a shock to both Coley and the viewer, as up to that point, the film had a much lighter tone. By the time the end comes around, horrible things have happened, and while I found myself chuckling quite a bit along the way, Bigfoot Famous ends on a gravely serious and downright somber note. That said, I laughed quite a bit at Bigfoot Famous. It does make fun of the life of a Bigfoot enthusiast as well as the lifestyle of your average YouTuber, but it does so in a way that feels as if it's making fun of everyone. Some of the characters may think they're better than others here, but all of them are presented in a not-so-positive light, which evens the playing field. Many of LA's Groundlings comedy troupe are featured throughout the film in bit parts, cameos, and more significant players. The comic timing is quite fresh and punchy, barely covering up the more serious tones of the story. There are some interesting themes and grave situations going on, but they're presented in a devious and dark sort of way that you can't help but laugh at it. The balance between social commentary and comedy of errors is a tough tightrope to walk, but Bigfoot Famous does so with grace. This is mainly due to the talented cast, led by the charismatic Steph Barkley as Coley. She was the sole standout from the abysmal The Canyonlands, which I reviewed a while back, and here she really gets to shine. Yes, she plays a vapid and high-maintenance monster, but Barkley offers up little moments of humanity that make it hard to dislike her. The actress really knows how to play things straight and funny in the midst of horrendous things, and her ambition to become a star becomes a monster more frightening than Bigfoot ever could be. I'm going to give Bigfoot Famous 3 solid feats. I can honestly say Bigfoot Famous worked for me. I understood what it was trying to say and felt the deliveries were surprisingly poignant, genuinely amusing, and downright hilarious at times. While there is a substantial lack of actual Bigfoot, it does hold a carnival mirror to the culture that surrounds the cryptid phenomenon. That'll be it for today. Please chime in down below in the comments and let me know how on the nose or mind-numbingly wrong I am, or you can counter with your own review. So guys, you know how YouTube works. I'd love to be able to dedicate more time to this channel. I'm not monetized yet, so if you want to help me out, remember to hit all the pertinent bells and whistles down below. Want some spooky comics to read? I have 2 new horror comic book trade paperbacks you should look out for. Both Grave Trancers and Pirouette, collecting never-before-published issues, can be found in only the finest of comic book shops. If you're looking for written reviews, you can find them on my website, mlmillerwrites.com. If you really want to show your support, I also have a Patreon page at mlmiller. Look for the link to my Patreon page down below. Thank you so much for your time, and take care.
You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your